It's really hard to talk sometimes. At least for me. Words can't really describe what is happening right now. But somehow, this urge in me to share this awareness with you is not going away. I tried, but it's not possible. And the funny part is, no matter how many times I keep on telling this consciousness that I don't want to carry this responsibility, it doesn't listen. One thing I realized in my journey, in my life, is that nothing really lasts. You know, the day that you realize the impermanence of things becomes a little bit easier. It becomes a little bit less stressful. Whenever you think that life is hard, whenever you think that you're anxious, stressful, you just gotta realize that, well, it will pass. It's not going to stay forever. It's impermanent. This reminds me of an anecdote or old story or Sufi story. I don't know what you call it, but the story is significant. And to be frank, I just don't really remember it fully, so I have to just make it up right now. There was this king that he wants a ring, and on this ring should be written something that every time the king reads, it makes him feel calm and relaxed. All the scholars and scientists of that era gathered to try to find a few words that can make the king relax and calm every time that it looks at it. Until one day, there is this mystic that he says that I know what are those words. They take the mystic to the king asks him, What are the words? He said, I will tell you the words with one condition. The king says, okay, what's the condition? The mystic says, you can only read these words when you know that you're dying. When you know that the next moment you're gonna pass away. The next moment you are absolutely gone. You cannot read these words until then. And if you're not really sure that you're going to die, you cannot read it. The king accepts the condition. They make the rings, they hide the words under the ring, and the king wears it. Until one day the kingdom is invaded, the king can hear that soldiers are approaching, the king can hear that the mass murder is happening and he is about to die. But then he sees a door and he finds a way to run away. He goes, he takes on his horse and he just runs, and he sees that 10 horsemen are behind him. They get closer. The king finds this place to sit under a tree. He knows that he's going to die. He knows that he cannot escape. And he just realized that now is the time to read the words on the rings. He takes out the ring. The words are written, "This will pass." That's when that really the king feels relaxed, calm, even though he knows he's going to die. The whole idea of this will pass brought serenity to his moment, his life. He realized that he has gone through a lot in life. This is also the same. This is exactly the same moment that could be the king's birth. Nothing is different. All that stress and anxiety that we go through every single day is not there. It's kind of attached to our present moment because we want it to. Because those stress and anxiety will create our future, and we want it to be there until our future is created. But the problem is, this future is not going to create and finish. This future creation is constant. You cannot really become satisfied with your future, because when the future is here, you want to have something else in the future. Like, that's just the normal behavior. The future never ends. Now you need to become clear with yourself. Now you need to really come to this point in your life that ask yourself that if I look at things with the idea of this will pass and the impermanence of things, what do I really want to have around me? What is really going on in my life? And I want to just have those things in my life because I know they are much more permanent than the things that I gathered all my life. Personally, I used a very simple trick to keep myself calm and collected. whenever I feel stressed and anxious. Only one sentence I say to myself, and everything becomes just simple. Everything becomes just so serene. It doesn't need to be anything more than that. And I will share it with you. Whenever I feel stressed and anxious, I say, I will die someday. And that just takes everything away. Because I know that I will die someday. And if I am going to die someday, what's the point of all this that I put in my life to make myself miserable and sad? This idea of we need to achieve something in life is very dangerous. It's very dangerous. Since you are born, they just put it in your head that you need to become someone. You need to do something that contributes to the society, and then you become a valuable part of the society. But when you look at closely to the society that we live in, you will realize that this is all nonsense. You cannot contribute to the society if you don't compromise, if you don't lie. It's not possible to be in the society and share the truth. It's absolutely impossible. The moment you share the truth, you need to deal with thousands of problems. So, naturally, you tend to not share the truth. And if you're not a liar, at least you try not to be a liar, then you become silent. Then perhaps people start taking advantage of you because they can lie, they can be not truthful. Other than that, our society is very segmented. What do we call a society? What do we call as a country, territory, race? How do we define these things? How do we define human experience? In the modern world, everything is just nonsense. Everything is just like absolutely stupid. Like very simple thing, I will share it with you. Look at the way that the world is creating a small groups of people, segmented people, different genders are coming out every day. And like it's just so simple that the collective intelligence has to realize by this time that look, we have two genders, why not make it one? That's just makes more sense to make more genders, because you make more genders, then you segment the society, then you have the groups, then each group goes on and create their own agenda because they have to protect themselves. Then of course you can't really function. Like, how would you want to function? Because people tend to favor their groups more. Like, it doesn't matter whatever it is, they tend to favor the groups more. That's just human tendency, that's just human nature. Well, isn't it better to just put all genders in one say, look, let's have just one gender, right? And then let's just deal with energies of people. Let's say we have like maximum masculine energy and we have maximum feminine energy. And you just always go through this polarity. Sometimes you have more masculine energy, sometimes you have more feminine energy. It's just a mix of things. Because if you want to make genders out of it, you have to make millions of genders. And honestly, most of these things happen because of the perversion in the society. Most of these things happen because of the sexual perversion of the society. For thousands of years, religion made sex as something so perverted because it was a taboo. It wasn't easy to access. Then you had to really try hard to access it, or even go further than that and harm others to reach to that level. So all this perversion, all these sexual desires and fetishes arise because we just suppress our sexual energy, and then the sexual energy gets suppressed, and then you get older, then of course you want to identify yourself as something that it fits better with you, and then you go on, you create different genders, more genders every day. We have like LGBTQ, perhaps another Q, and then plus, and that plus is more, and then it just goes on. It never stops. And what do you want to do? Like what's the end result? Just more separation, more division. It doesn't need to be like that. We all going through the same human experience. We all just understand each other on a very simple level. We don't really need to go hard. On communication. It's simple. But what we did, we just ruined everything. We can't communicate anymore. Like, we don't understand each other. The moment you sit, you want to talk with someone, they just talk about their own groups. They always talk about their own problems, their own issues. Well, of course, no one will listen, because then I have to talk about my problems, my groups, my issues. Then we just go on talk about our problems forever, and we can't solve it because we are not collectively there to solve each other's problem. How did I get here? I know there will be flood of comments from perhaps people who got me wrong by this gender talk now. Because we can't also touch things. The moment you touch things, you're like, whoa, wait a second. You touched that. Now, let's ruin your life. You can't touch anything in this world anymore, without triggering people, without sharing the truth. Whatever it is. You can't really share the truth. That's the point. That's the problem. But yeah, I will die someday, so why would I really care? So let's get back on that impermanence. Whatever you're going through in life at the moment, if you evaluate your life right now, you will find some of the things that are just happy, some of the things are just sad, and some of the things are just neutral there. The happy ones, let it be. Neutral ones, also let it be. But the sad ones, the ones that they bring a little bit of overthinking to your life, the ones that brings a little bit of anguish in your life, observe them honestly. Sit with yourself and observe them. You need to have a list of things that is really blocking you. That's just the simplest human thing that you can do. Like if you were in the nature and you were just like somewhere in the forest stuck, what would you do? You prioritize things. You know that you have to survive. You know that you have to prioritize things in order for you to survive, right? That's just like the simplest things that come to your mind. But at the moment, most people in the world, they don't do that. Like they think just because survival is so easy, just because they go on and live it and they just survive, things are going fine. No. You gotta go back to the survival level. You gotta go and look at your life in a survival mode. And then prioritize. See all your blockages. What's really happening in your life? When you look at it this way, then you can easily plan and proceed. After you made a list out of those sad parts in your life, see how much of the sad chunks they're carrying with themselves, and start from the top, the biggest one, not the smallest one, the biggest one. Focus on it, sit with it, meditate over it. And the more you meditate, the more awareness arises in your life. The more you meditate, the more awareness gather that thing, hold your sadness, and helps you to just evaporate it. Because it will help you to realize that this will not last, this will pass. I think that's enough for today. Let me know if you like longer content or a smaller, shorter content. I don't think shorter is really possible with me. Um, but yeah, we can also make it short if that's easier, and then we can have different videos with shorter times. But I think one sitting is really nicer and just more um, possible to meditate with it rather than just sit for 7 minutes and go, move on to something else, occupy your mind with it, forget what just happened, and then the next day you perhaps find another video, you soothe yourself a little bit, you listen, and you just feel so calm and relaxed, and you go do other things, and then you forget. I think it's a longer sitting is a little bit helpful in the sense of keeping you more in the flow, in the stream, in meditation. Yeah, share with me your thoughts in the comment. I'm currently contemplating a way of more direct communication, perhaps. I'm not sure yet, but we will see. Thank you. And now let me make a cover image. What do you say? We do this, we make ourselves presentable, nice, hair is good, yeah. Maybe we take down this. Or maybe without glasses, huh? What would you say? No, with glasses is better. Maybe not. I still don't know what's the title though. What did I talk about? But anyway, I think I will not smile. Because a smile is just not so attractive, you know. It's cheesy. It's better to be like kind of mad undercover, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I will smile a little bit. Then like this. And then the microphone. Oh, that's fine. Nice. We got it. Have a good one. See you around, huh? Bye.